standing strong and tall. Yeah, this is the bovine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong legends being made. Yeah, this is the bovine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong.
Welcome back to the Bovine Podcast. Today we're sharing a story that really just stopped us in our tracks.
Yeah.
We look at a lot of data, we see a lot of show results, and we talk to a lot of people in this industry.
All the time.
But every once in a while, a story comes across the desk that just seems to defy the logic of the modern dairy world.
This is the kind of conversation that reminds you why you got into dairy in the first place. It's raw, it involves, massive risk, and the payoff it's absolutely incredible.
Exactly. We are taking you to the Austrian Alps today, and I want to start with a specific moment to really set the stage.
Okay.
I want you to picture this. It is a crisp evening in Maishofen, Austria. If you've never been there, just imagine the glacier-covered Kitzsteinhorn mountain just completely dominating the horizon.
A stunning view.
Oh, unbelievable. And the sun is going down, so the light is hitting the snow and turning everything that's deep, bruising purple. It's just perfect.
It sounds like postcard material. But, for the people living there, the day isn't about the view.
Not at all.
It's about the work. That mountain, it represents the challenge, not just the scenery.
Right. And the workday is finally winding down. So you have the Wenger family, and this is the family at the center of our story, gathered around an old, worn kitchen table.
The whole crew.
The whole crew. You've got Rupert Sr. and his wife, Angelika. You've got their son, Rupert Jr., who we're going to be talking about a lot. He's probably sitting at the counter, and knowing dairy farmers, he still smells faintly of, show shampoo and manure.
A familiar combination.
His sister Stevie is there, bouncing a grandchild on her knee. It's a Tuesday. Or, any regular evening until a phone buzzes.
Mm-hmm. And in this industry, a phone buzzing late in the day can mean a lot of things.
Right.
And usually it's a problem. A vet call, a milk truck delay, a cow down. It's rarely good news.
Exactly. But then another phone buzzes.
Oh.
And then the room goes dead silent. Because the news that's coming through isn't a problem. It's a verdict.
Wow.
Schoenhof Holsteins has just been named the European Breeder of the Year 2025.
Which is, huge. Doesn't even begin to cover it. That is the heavyweight title belt of European genetics.
Oh, it is?
That is the Super Bowl ring. That's the World Cup trophy.
And here is the kicker. Here is why we are doing this entire deep dive. This wasn't a close call. They didn't just squeak by with a fraction of a point.
No.
They took 28.2% of the entire continental vote.
What? 28%.
28.2.
Yeah.
They absolutely crushed massive operations like Sabbione Holsteins from Italy. They beat Loan from Germany. These are the giants.
These are absolute factories of genetics. They're like the New York Yankees of the European dairy scene.
They really are.
They have the budgets, the staff, the numbers, the sheer scale.
And Schoenhof.
Yep.
They milk 60 cows.
60.
60.
That is the number that just breaks your brain a little bit.
It really does.
In a year where we saw, something like 2,800 American farms close their doors. In a year where the entire global mantra of the dairy industry is get big or get out, you have this tiny herd in the mountains beating the industrial giants.
It's the ultimate David versus Goliath story.
Yeah.
And honestly, my first reaction was just shock.
Yeah, how is that possible?
How does a 60-cow herd generate enough statistical power, enough show points, enough visibility to take down herds that are maybe 20 times their size? It shouldn't be mathematically possible.
It really shouldn't. And that's what resonates so hard about this. Every small farmer I know, and I know a lot of them, they live with this low-level anxiety, this little voice in the back of their head just constantly saying, you're too small, you can't compete, you need to double the herd, build a new parlor, leverage yourself to the hilt just to survive.
It's a constant pressure.
And then the Wengers come along and just flip the script entirely. They didn't expand, they didn't industrialize, they got better.
So let's back up. Because you don't just wake up one morning and win European Breeder of the Year with 60 cows.
No, this doesn't happen by accident.
This was a 25-year overnight success. And the crazy part is, it almost didn't happen at all.
That's the origin story. And it starts with the land itself. You have to understand the geography to understand the cow.
That's a great way to put it. The farm is in Zell MC. Now, if you are a skier or a tourist, you probably know that name. It is prime real estate. It's gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning.
And because of that, the land value is astronomical.
Which puts a farmer in a really weird position. You're sitting on a gold mine, but you're working yourself to the bone just to make ends meet.
It's the land-rich, cash-poor paradox.
It's a classic paradox that so many generational farmers face. The temptation to just sell. It must be immense.
Exactly. Years ago, Rupert Sr. and Angelica faced a genuine crisis. The mountains are brutal for farming. It's steep. The weather is harsh. The logistics of getting anything in or out are a nightmare.
Right.
And they seriously considered selling everything, just cashing out the land value and moving to a flat, easy farming area where they could just run a standard operation.
And you can't blame them for thinking that. Let's go somewhere where gravity isn't fighting us every single day.
I know.
Let's go where we can run a tractor without worrying about rolling it over.
It sounds so simple, so much less stress.
Yeah.
But they stayed. They made the decision to stay in the ancestral home. But they knew they couldn't keep doing things the same way. It wasn't sustainable.
God.
At the time, they were in a tie stall barn milking about 20 Fleck V cows.
Okay, so we need to pause on Fleck V for a second, just for the international listeners who might be tuned into Holsteins or Jerseys.
Good point.
Fleck V, or Simmental, is basically the tractor of the Alpine cow world.
Huh, that's perfect.
They are dual purpose. They are built like tanks. They have thick muscle for beef value when you cull them, and they have incredibly strong legs and feet to climb those mountains.
They're survivors?
They are designed specifically for that environment. They belong there.
So, logically, if you decide to stay in the mountains, you stick with the mountain cow. That's the playbook.
Right. That's the safe bet. That's what all the neighbors do. That's what the local agronomy advisor is going to tell you to do. It's the path of least resistance.
The Wengers did the exact opposite.
Of course they did.
In the year 2000, they converted the barn to a free stall system and switched to purebred Holsteins.
Which, to their neighbors, must have looked absolutely insane.
Oh, completely.
Holsteins are the racehorses. They're these high production, high maintenance, fine boned machines. You don't put a Formula One car on a rocky mountain pass.
Right. The perception is that they're too fragile.
Exactly. They're designed for flat concrete and TMR mixers, not for climbing 2,000 meters into the clouds.
Everyone thought they were crazy.
Oh.
But they had this vision of outstanding performance and perfect conformation that the Flex V just couldn't give them.
They wanted the elegance.
They wanted refinement. They wanted that dairy character, that sharpness. And this brings us to Rupert Jr., because while his parents were making this massive, strategic and financial shift, he was just a 10-year-old kid. And then he got a gift.
This is the moment. The spark. Every breeder I've ever talked to has one.
His parents gave him a calf. Her name was Banatas Mailand.
And that's not just livestock.
Yeah.
When you're 10 and it's your calf, that's a relationship. It's something different.
It totally is. Rupert says this animal got under his skin. And I want to dig into the psychology of that for a second. Imagine being 10 years old. Your parents are taking this huge financial risk, switching breeds. The neighbors are probably talking behind their backs. And you are just looking at this one calf and realizing, this is it. This is who I am. This is my future.
It's the universal 4-H or young farmers experience, isn't it?
Oh,
I bet half the people listening right now can name that one animal.
I can.
The one that hooked them. It's different than just doing chores. Suddenly, you aren't just feeding an animal, you're building a future.
Yes.
You're looking at pedigrees, you're worrying about her top line. It changes you from a laborer into a stockman. It completely shifts your identity.
And for Rupert, that calf, Mailand, she became the foundation of everything. She wasn't just a pet. She is the matriarch behind some of their biggest current stars, like Sid Mailand and Dempsey Melinda. So that emotional connection, that spark, it actually turned into the genetic foundation of the entire herd.
That's incredible. But, you need more than a kid with a special calf to build a business.
Of course.
You need proof that the crazy idea Holsteins in the Alps actually works. You need market validation. You need to show everyone you weren't insane.
And that proof came in 2004. The family took 2 cows to the Austrian National Show for the very first time. They had this cow, Star Leader Fortuna.
Okay, first time out.
First time, and she wins junior champion.
Wow.
Right out of the gate.
That is the proof of concept moment. That is the moment the startup realizes the product is viable.
Exactly. Rupert said that was the moment they all looked at each other and realized, okay, we aren't crazy. We can actually do this. And Fortuna, she wasn't just a pretty face. She went on to produce over 130,000 kilos of milk in her lifetime.
That's a huge number, over 280,000 pounds.
A huge number. She scored EX92. She was durable, and she was beautiful.
And that durability is the key. We'll get to the mountain grazing in a bit, but proving that a Holstein could live that long and produce that much in that harsh environment. That silences the critics. It proved that the fragile Holstein wasn't so fragile if you managed her right, if you bred her right.
So they have the proof, but they still have the problem of scale. They'd only have 60 cows.
Yeah.
You cannot compete on the commodity milk market with 60 cows. You just can't.
No. The margins on fluid milk are razor thin, especially in Europe. You need volume. If you're small, you starve. Unless you change what you're selling.
And that's exactly what they did. They pivoted to what industry analysts are now calling a genetic boutique.
I love that term, genetic boutique. It completely reframes the entire business model.
It fits perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They realized every animal had to be an asset, not just a production unit. They weren't making milk anymore, not primarily. They were making perfection.
Let's break down the economics here, because this is the wait a minute moment for any business-minded listener.
Okay.
A standard commercial heifer in that region, a fleck fee, maybe sells for what? 2,000 euros?
Yeah, maybe 2,500 on a really good day. That's the going rate.
Okay. Schoenhof is selling their elite show heifers for 25,000 to 45,000.
It's a staggering difference.
It's not just a difference, it's a whole other universe that is 10 to 20 times the value per head.
And get this, they are selling about 35 breeding cows and heifers a year from that 60 cow herd.
Wait a minute, run that math for me. 35 sales a year even at the low end of that price point.
It is serious revenue.
It is huge revenue. That is how you support two full families, Rupert Sr.'s household and Rupert Jr.'s household, on a land base that shouldn't be able to support one.
Right.
They completely decoupled their income from the milk check. The milk is almost a byproduct at this point. It pays the electric bill and the feed bill. The profit comes from the genetics.
But to get that kind of price tag, you have to offer something that nobody else has. You need a unique selling proposition. And this brings us to their secret sauce, or as you called it in our pre-show chat, their biological moat.
This is my favorite part of this story, because usually when we talk about a competitive advantage in dairy, we talk about, having the best AI contracts or the most expensive robots or the best corn silage.
Yeah, things you can buy.
Things you can buy. The Wenger's competitive advantage is the mountain itself.
Explain that, because to me, the mountain still sounds like a liability.
Yeah.
It's hard to climb. The weather is bad. How is that an advantage?
It's the Rocky Balboa effect.
Yeah.
They send their heifers up to graze at 2,000 meters. That's over 6,500 feet. We are talking about the Steinernsmeer range. It is rugged. This is not a manicured, lush green pasture.
And this isn't just for the Instagram photos, because I've seen the photos. They are stunning.
Oh, the photos are marketing gold. Don't get me wrong. They sell the story. But biologically, think about what happens to a mammal at 6,500 feet.
The air is thinner.
The air is thinner. You have to work harder just to get oxygen into your bloodstream. So these heifers, just by walking around and grazing, develop massive heart and lung capacity. Their chest width expands naturally to accommodate it.
So they're literally building a bigger, more powerful engine.
Exactly. They are building a cardiovascular engine that a hecker raised in a flat barn in Germany or Wisconsin or Ontario simply does not have. It's an environmental adaptation.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then look at the terrain. It's rocky. It's uneven. They are climbing up and down all day long. This naturally trims their hooves and it hardens the sole. You don't get laminitis or soft feet when you grow up walking on granite.
It's like a natural hoof trimmer and hardener built into their daily routine.
Right. So they are taking these elite, fragile Holstein genetics. We're talking embryos from the best cow families in the world. Lines like Roxy, Apple, Leela Z, and they are putting them through Navy SEAL training from the moment they're weaned.
That is the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
They import the Ferrari engine, the high-type embryos,
Right.
and then they put it in a Humvee chassis that's been built by the Alps.
And the result is this trouble-free Holstein. A cow that looks like a show winner, that has the dairy quality and the beautiful udder, but has the durability of a mountain goat.
And that is a product that buyers are desperate for.
Desperate, because the biggest complaint about modern show cows is that they're beautiful, but they burn out. They don't last.
Right.
Schoenhof cows don't burn out. They're built to last.
That is fascinating. It's taken the biggest weakness of their location, the thing that almost made them sell the farm, and turning it into their biggest selling point.
Your disadvantage is your moat. It's something you can't buy. A billionaire can go out and buy the best genetics in the world, but they can't buy the Alps. They can't replicate that environment.
But it's not just nature doing the work.
Yeah.
The human element here is just, it's intense.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the daily grind, because boutique sounds fancy, but in farming, boutique usually just means way more work.
Oh, absolutely. It's the opposite of automation. It's hyper-manual.
Right. Rupert knows every single cow by name. That's pretty standard for small farms.
Yeah.
But he knows their temperament. He knows the specific weakness in the pedigree 3 generations back that he's trying to protect against. And the care. This isn't just feed them and milk them.
No, this is individualized attention on a whole other level.
The source material mentions that heifers get show care from birth. We're talking daily washing, coat conditioning,
Yeah.
halter training when they are tiny little calves.
Imagine the labor hours that go into that. Washing a calf every day. In a large-scale, efficient factory farm, that is a complete waste of time. It doesn't pencil out.
No way.
But at Schoenhof, that calf isn't a unit of production. She's a potential $40,000 asset. So that hour you spend washing and training her, that's direct investment in the final sale price.
It's value-added labor.
Totally. If she walks into the ring like a queen because she's been halter broken since she was a week old, calm and collected, the price goes up. The buyers see that.
But even with all this care and all this strategy, they don't win every time. And I think it's really important that we talk about the failures, because Rupert was very open about this. They have had some serious disasters.
And this is where the art versus science debate really comes in. We live in the era of genomics. The spreadsheet is supposed to tell you what to breed.
Right. The data is king. And Schoenhof fell into that trap early on. They had a really high index, Atwood daughter. The number said she was genetic gold.
Okay.
So they bred her to all the high-ranking genomic bulls of the moment, McCutcheon, Army, Tattoo. These were the smart matings, according to the data.
On paper, those calves should have been superstars. They should have been chart toppers.
What was the result?
Every single one failed.
Everyone.
Every mating, none of the offspring turned out. They were average at best, just plain.
That has to be devastating. You wait 9 months for the calf, then another 2 years for the heifer to calve in. That's years of time and potential just lost.
It is. It's a huge setback. But that was the lesson. Rupert said that was the moment he learned to trust his eye over the spreadsheet. He realized that just because the numbers say it's a match doesn't mean the biology agrees. He had to look at the physical cow in front of him, her strengths, her faults, not just the data on the screen.
So he pivoted. He had a family where the numbers weren't lining up, and he just ignored the index. He looked at the cow, looked at a bull named Stanton's alligator, who wasn't necessarily a genomic giant at the time, and just said, physically this works.
A purely visual mating, the old school way.
The old school way. And that mating produced Dakota.
And Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh man, Dakota. She became the star, the proof of his philosophy.
She won her class at Swiss Expo. She was the vindication of his judgment, of his stockman's eye.
But this leads to the hardest part of the boutique business model.
The sale.
You breed the perfect cow, you raise her, you love her, she wins. And then, because your business model relies on these high-value sales, you have to let her go.
Rupert talked about selling Dakota. He said it was the hardest sale he ever made. He actually set a crazy price on her, a price he thought nobody would possibly pay, just because he subconsciously didn't want to sell her.
That's a classic seller's defense mechanism. I'll put a make-me-move price on it.
Right.
It's a way of protecting yourself from the loss, hoping nobody calls your bluff.
But Mattenhoff Holsteins called his bluff. They paid it. They wired the money.
And that's the double-edged sword, isn't it? You get the cash, which keeps the farm running, keeps the dream alive.
But then, a few months later, Rupert is at Expo Bull 2025, and he's watching Dakota, his Dakota. She's in the ring, she looks incredible, and she wins Reserve Grand Champion.
That's a huge win.
A huge win.
Yeah.
And he's not holding the lead rope.
Oof.
Well, actually, the source says he was on the halter, helping fit and show her for the new owners, but he didn't own her anymore. He was winning for someone else.
That is such a complex emotion. There's immense pride. I made that. My breeding philosophy created that champion. But there's also that sharp pang of loss. The empty stall the next morning. It's like raising a child and sending them off to college, but you never get them back for the holidays.
And it's not just sales, it's death. We have to talk about Sid Mailand. This was the daughter of his original childhood calf, the legacy animal.
This story just breaks my heart a little bit.
Me too. She calved in as a 2-year-old, and she was just okay. She placed 7th in her class at a big show. In the show world, 7th is invisible.
Yeah, you're not getting your picture taken for 7th place. Most people would have culled her, or at least moved her to the commercial string and forgotten about her.
But Rupert saw something. He had faith in the cow family. He said, she just needs time.
Patience. That's a recurring theme here, isn't it? The opposite of the get big quick mentality.
And he was right. She matured. She grew into her frame. She blossomed into an EX94 point cow. She became the Austrian national champion. She proved him right.
An amazing story of development.
And then she died because they are livestock. They get sick. Things happen. Rupert said losing her still hurts today. It just highlights the brutal math of dairy. You love them, you pour your entire life into them, and eventually they leave.
Yeah. Either on a truck to a new owner or they pass away in the barn. It's a business of heartbreak.
It is a business of heartbreak, interspersed with moments of absolute transcendent glory. And the glory doesn't get bigger than Cremona 2025.
The Cremona sweep. That was just legendary.
So set the scene for us. This is the International Dairy Show in Italy. This is basically the European Super Bowl of cattle shows.
It is the gladiator arena. It's not a polite, quiet county fair. You have the best Italian herds, and the Italians are incredible, passionate breeders. You have the Swiss, the French, the Germans. The atmosphere is chaotic, it's loud, it's intense, it's pure energy.
And Schönhoff, the little 60-cow herd from the Austrian mountains, walks in. And they don't just win a class or two.
No.
They win Premier Breeder and Premier Exhibitor in both the Red and White Show and the All Breed Show. A clean sweep.
And we should explain to the listener why Premier Breeder matters so much more than Premier Exhibitor.
Please do.
Premier Exhibitor just means you brought the best cows to the show that day. You could have bought them all last week. It's a checkbook award in many ways.
Right. It rewards the budget. It rewards the person who can afford to buy the best.
Premier Breeder. That means you made the cows. That means the prefix on the animal's name is yours. It means your decisions, your matings, your calf raising, your patience. It all created the winner.
It's the ultimate validation of your program.
And for a 60-cow herd to win Premier Breeder against herds with hundreds of animals where they have statistically way more chances to score points is almost impossible.
How? How do you do that?
It means almost every single animal they brought had to be in the top 3 of their class. They couldn't afford a miss. Their consistency had to be perfect.
Rupert describes being in the back pens, just covered in show foam, cow hair stuck to his face, just working. And they keep calling his name to come to the ring.
Yeah.
And he has to go out there and accept that banner again and again. It's the summit.
It really is. It proved that they aren't just lucky. They're not a one-hit wonder. They have a system that works.
But, and I love this detail from the story, Schönhoff isn't a one-man show. We keep talking about Rupert because he's the face of it, but the source material is very clear that this is a family machine.
Successful farms are rarely one-man shows. They're an ecosystem. If one person falls down, the whole thing stops.
You've got Steffi, the sister. She manages the calves and the robots.
Which is a critical role. If the calves aren't raised right, if they get sick or don't grow well, Rupert has nothing to show in 2 years. She is literally building the foundation of their future success.
You've got Thomas, the brother-in-law. He's the inseminator. He's the one actually putting the straw in the cow. That is an incredibly high-pressure job when you're using expensive semen on an elite high-value cow.
Oh yeah, accuracy matters. You miss a heat, or you miss the placement in the tract, that's thousands of euros potentially lost or delayed. His precision is part of the profit equation.
Then you've got Rupert Sr., the dad. He's still out there every day doing the feeding, and he also runs the breed association. And then there's Mom, Angelica. Rupert specifically called her out as the unsung hero. She's in the office.
The CFO, the one who makes it all work.
Exactly. Managing the finances. Managing those crazy prices, making sure the bills are paid and the lights stay on.
I love that they highlighted that because so often the person in the office gets zero glory, but if they mess up, the farm goes bankrupt. She is the steady hand on the wheel that allows Rupert to be the artist in the barn.
It's a perfect description.
Yeah.
And there's another layer to their business that really surprised me.
Yeah.
They aren't just Holstein purists anymore.
No.
They diversified into jerseys.
The little brown cows.
Why would a high-end, world-class Holstein herd start messing around with jerseys?
Well, it started as a hobby, which is how these things often go. Oh, let's get a cute jersey for the kids to show. But then because the Wengers are obsessive about quality, they couldn't just have average jerseys.
Right? It's not on their DNA.
They don't know how to do things halfway, so they had to get the best jerseys.
And now it's a major revenue stream. They've won junior champion at Swiss Expo in Cremona with their jerseys.
It's a brilliant business hedge. The Holstein market fluctuates. Trends change. The Jersey market is different. It's often driven by cheese production, by high components, by a different type of buyer who values different traits. By having elite stock in both breeds, they double their potential customer base. It makes their business model much more resilient to market swings.
It's smart. And then there's Rupert's side hustle, which just blows my mind. He's a professional fitter.
Which is wild when you think about it. He travels to other major shows to clip and prepare cows for his competitors.
Doesn't that seem completely counterintuitive? Why would you help the guy who's trying to beat you?
It speaks to his philosophy. He said, I want the best cow to win, even if he's the one clipping the cow that beats his own. But practically, it builds relationships.
Ah, the networking.
The networking is huge. He mentions Martin Rubisam from Wiesenfeld Holsteins. Rupert worked for him as a fitter, they became friends, and then they ended up partnering on a cow, Regale, who went on to become a champion.
So the cooperation pays off in the long run.
Relationships are currency in this business. If you are known as the guy who can make any cow look her absolute best, people trust you. And when they trust your eye for cattle, they trust you enough to buy your genetics. It establishes him as an expert, not just another farmer.
So we've looked at the miracle win, the mountain strategy, the heartbreak, and the intricate family business model. I want to bring this all back to the listener.
Let's do it.
All right, someone is listening to this on their tractor right now. Maybe they have 50 cows. Maybe they're milking 5,000. What is the one thing from the Schoenhof story they should sit with today?
I think the biggest takeaway, the one that really sticks with me, is this. Your disadvantage might be your moat.
Break that down for us.
The Wengers spent years probably wishing they were on flat land, wishing they were in an easier farming area. It was their biggest problem. But they stopped apologizing for the mountains and they started leveraging them. They used the altitude and the rocks to build a type of cow that nobody else could copy. So if you are listening to this, look at your farm. What is the thing you hate? What is the thing that makes your life hard? Is it heavy clay soil? Is it being too far from the processor? Is there a way to flip that? Is there a niche market that needs exactly what that difficulty produces?
That is a powerful idea. Don't fight your geography, leverage it.
A second one, and it's just as important, is that patience compounds. We live in a quarterly result world. Everybody wants success now. This was a 25-year project.
Quarter century.
From a tie stall with Fleckvieh to European champions took a quarter century of showing up every single day. There are no shortcuts to an EX94 cow. You have to put in the time.
And finally, is there a third?
Yeah. Trust your eye. Data is a tool. Genomics are great. But at the end of the day, you are the stockman. You have the intuition. If the spreadsheet says yes, but your gut says no, listen to your gut.
Yeah.
The Dakota story proves that the art of stockmanship still beats the algorithm. The best breeders have a feel for it.
I love that. The computer doesn't walk the pasture. You do.
Exactly.
Well, that is another story from the Bovine Podcast. It's a powerful reminder that even in a world of consolidation and mega dairies, there is still room for the masters of the craft.
These are the people building the future of dairy, one perfect heifer at a time.
Find more stories like this at www.thebovine.com. Next time, we're talking to a breeder who is taking a completely different approach, using genomic editing to try and fast-track genetic progress. You won't want to miss that contrast. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.